Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German foosball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Hello.
Yeah.
Schnitzel night.
That tech. Just smooth as a baby's bottom.
Yes. Good review of your performance, of your own performance.
I still get
Smooth
excited
as a
when
baby.
everything works.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Good stuff. VO and the tech. Sometimes we get
evening.
it wrong, but sometimes we get it right.
But we gotta celebrate when it works. Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am well, this is the Germany hour, so my team's getting relegated.
Well, I can't argue anymore because I agree. So you talked earlier about the mysterious episode titles. I try to be creative with them every week. A little,
Yeah.
because we don't pre-write our podcasts. Something I learned, by the way, I texted you. Apple Podcasts automatically transcripts
I saw.
all their podcast episodes, and which is cool. So we always have transcripts of everything. You can look ahead if you want to be like, oh, what are they going to talk about Mainz? Then you can look at the transcript to see when that would be. And But when we speak in German, they translate it automatically into English. The whole thing's in English. Doesn't matter what language you speak, it's going to be in English, which is very interesting to me. Good for them. Super strong AI. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So whatever when we speak in German,
struggled a little bit with our open. I mean, it's difficult. It's the words
not
alone.
perfect.
The words alone do not really describe what happens in that.
For instance, I'm going to test it right. Let's test our transcript right now.
Oh, okay.
This is a fun little game. Later, you can look at the episode when it gets released tomorrow. You can see how they translated the following: Farfignugan.
Well, that's like an Americanized word, right? Since the commercial.
I don't even know what that is. It's from a VW Beetle commercial.
Yeah, you don't know what it is? It's
well,
the pleasure of thriving.
Oh, Farfignugan?
Farfignugan, yeah. The joy, I guess, the joy of driving.
Farfignugan.
Yeah.
So Farfignugan. Okay, well, there's one.
This is what you experience if you buy a Volkswagen, according to that commercial.
Yeah, it's not true, but maybe it is. Depends on the Volkswagen.
I've had some Farfignugan in Volkswagens at moments.
Here's a question.
I bought a Volkswagen from my friend when he moved back to Ireland. He had a Volkswagen to get rid of quickly, and I bought it, and it was very nice. It was fancy until it died. Until it died a sudden death outside the Holland Tunnel, but that's another story.
I was going to say that's what you expect from a VW, to die a sudden death outside the Holland Tunnel.
What
was it? What kind of VW was it?
It was a Touareg, which was a very sort of fancy big SUV type thing. Yeah, it was big, and it was very nice. It was very nice while it lasted. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, if we say Volkswagen, will they say people's car or will they say Volkswagen? Depends. I wonder what the rules are. Is it a brand? Is it not a brand? Like,
interesting questions. Yeah, check out the transcript, people.
What's the longest German word? What's the longest German word you could think of?
Donaudampfschifffahrtskapitänskajüte.
Nice. I see. That's what we're here for. That's a good, mouthy German compound word. Now, the reason German words are so long is because it's like a mathematical equation. You can take 3 or 4 or 5, put them all together to mean something.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely, say it for me. Let's test me and you're at home. You can play at home. Say it for me a little slower one more time so I can.
Donaudampfschifffahrtskapitänskajüte.
Okay, so I understood the middle. It's a certain type of steamship captain, right?
Right.
Maybe. And then the Kajüte at the end. Is that the cabin?
Yeah, that's the cabin.
Cabin, and
It's
then
the
Donau is a city, right?
Donau is the Danube, is
Or a
a river.
port. Oh,
So
it's a
this is
river.
this word describes the cabin of the captain of a steamship that operates on the Danube.
So say it one more time because I want to say it.
Donau Dampfschifffahrtskapitänskajüte.
Donau Dampfschifffahrts Kapitänskajüte.
Very good. You had an extra S in there somewhere, but other than that, very.
Schiff.
Donau
Donau
Dampfschifffahrtskapitänskajüte.
Schifffahrts.
Yeah.
Have you ever had Schifffahrts? Have you ever gone on a cruise and just had a lot of gassy foods that morning and a bunch of Schifffahrts throughout the day?
No, not overnight. But we have,
Dang, my Schifffahrts are through the roof today. Sorry, honey.
Where where I grew up in Mülheim an der Ruhr, which is, as the name, even as they're proud to even put into their name, is located by the river Ruhr, and they have a like a set of ships called Die Weiße Flotte, the white. What is flotte? It's like
Is it fleet?
A fleet. Yes, thank you. The White Fleet. So these are ships that cruise around up and down the Ruhr, and you can do that for
Looking for
fun. And they
goals?
serve. No, it's really just for. I mean, it's mostly old people. I think that that patronize this, but sometimes my mother loves it. We they once invited us. For a musical version of this. There was a pianist and a singer lady, and so there was some classical music. And Paige, my wife, still talks about this because we were stuck on that thing for 4 hours, and there was it's a trip, so there was no getting out. She was like, "How much longer is this going to go on for?"
It's like another 3.5 hours.
I was like, "Yeah, exactly. 3 hours and 45 minutes more."
Wait a minute. If you're on the Ruhr for 4 hours, I mean, you end up in Belgium at that point. Where are you going?
Well, there was no. I guess. Yeah, a good point. I mean, I think they went pretty slow.
Going the whole time?
There's you can go all the way to Essen, far into the Ruhr goes a ways. Like you can, if you want to go for a few hours. I mean, also these boats don't break exactly the speed of sound. They go at a leisurely pace. And then there's some.
This is what I'm imagining. It's a boat. There's like a pianist in a suit and a guy, like a host, and it's just you, your wife, and your parents. They're the only people who showed up. There's nobody else there. And you're like forced. You have to watch the whole show. You're not allowed to leave early now.
Yeah, that could have. I mean, you can't leave early anyway. You're in a boat. You're unless you want to swim. You could swim to the shore, I guess, if it was really dire. It's not that far. But
what a great way what a great way to get stuck. Like there's no out.
There were some other people on that particular occasion, but you're not wrong in that is entirely possible that could happen.
Any requests?
That's something that my mother thinks is the greatest thing. Everybody else would be like, "Yeah, no way, you couldn't pay me to do this." Like, oh, sounds amazing. So,
and then people from Starlight Express come on the roller skates, start roller skating around you.
That would have.
One of them falls in the river. They have to go save him. It's like, watch out.
Yeah, if I think we would have had some suggestions as to how to make this a little more entertaining for 4 hours. But then they have to go through a. What is that? What do you call a schleuse? Oh, I got to look this up. What is
the transcript? This is a good transcript test.
A schleuse. Yeah. What is a schleuse in English?
Right now in the transcript, what is and it's the English translation.
A sluice? No.
What's a sluice?
That can't be right. What is a
Dr. Sluice?
It's
I know Dr. Sluice.
A sluice? No, it is called a sluice.
Well, let's get the thesaurus out on that one.
A sluice is used between bodies of water with different water levels. This is what happens you have to, the boat goes into an area, and then Yeah, in a canal kind of situation, and then there's water let in, and so it lifts up the boat, and then it goes out the other way. Anyway, all this to say, this all takes a long time. Nothing goes quick in die
Very
Weiße
nautical.
Flotte.
Yeah. Amazing. You know
Anyway,
what? You know what else is happening in the Ruhr? You know what else they're looking for in the Ruhr, Bjorn? They're searching. You could dispatch as many boats as you want. They're not going to find it. In the Ruhr, they're searching for goals, soccer goals. That is because it's a soccer podcast. And you texted me over the weekend. You said Falfa Bochum can play another 30 hours. They're not going to find a goal. And you said
Yeah.
they don't have quality. And
Nope.
I'm like, well, and then I watched the game pretty closely this weekend, and I was like, yeah, there's not a lot of quality here. they're missing some sitters. Maybe not sitters, but Bernardo waft a total volley, just missed the ball, and then if they're up top, and then like
And
I forgot his name,
Bernardo
he
is
he put a cross in, and it went sky high, fifth fünften Stock, dritten Stock, right, third floor.
it was
And
pretty
it's like
good.
you're right. The quality, they can't finish, they can't assist. The quality is not there. Now, is it the level of quality you come to expect, or is it the pressure of just what's going on at the club right now is affecting their quality? Do you think?
No, this was never. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I said we were going to be in contention to break the record for fewest points ever. I had no confidence in this group, and because we had 33 points last year, which was good enough for 16th place, and then everybody left. A bunch of Kevin Sturger went to Gladbach, Asano went to Mallorca. A lot of people left, and they were not replaced. They were replaced with really inferior people, and so I was like, this is not a Bundesliga squad. It just hasn't been. And then Dieter Hecking, really, to his credit, got the most out of these guys and turned them into a coherent and most of the time pretty competitive group. They have not embarrassed themselves. They look like they look like a team, but ultimately
They beat Bayern München, right?
Yeah, I mean, and then since then they lost 5 games after that. Like it's not, that was the fluke. That is a fluke. And in a way, I think in a weird way, after that game, there was sort of an odd sense of confidence of like, oh, we totally got this. We're clearly better than Heidenheim and Kiel, and we're going to at least make it to 16th, and we may just escape this whole thing altogether. There was like a real wave of optimism, and I was like, I don't know. And then we lost the next 5, and the only reason, this is the other thing to keep repeating, the only reason we're even competitive is because the other teams are also less good than usual. Like usually, there's more teams that get to 30 points plus. With our 33 of last year, we would comfortably be in like 14th place or something this season. So yeah. It's just, there's a lot of fluky things that came together to even make we got those extra points from the Union Berlin game. That was today finalized. The last of the appeals was heard, and they reaffirmed this. So we got 2 extra points out of that. And, like there's all these, and still it all just adds up to what, like 21 we have? It's just not enough.
Were those points already there? They're going to have.
They were already there after the
yeah. So they're
after the initial ruling, they didn't add them, but then they did, and now this was just the final appeal. And so no, we already got those. They're not gonna.
And you mentioned the penalty was a gift over the weekend.
I mean, did you watch it? It was like that was, and
I did. I guess I didn't
the Union Berlin defender inexplicably pulls down Danny De Witt, who's on his way out of the box. He's like has his back to goal and is moving away from the defender. He pulls him down. Initially, the referee calls a free kick, but then VAR determines this happened in the box, and so we're getting penalty kick, which was really a gift. And then we barely can accept the gift because Barrow like really weakly hits it at the goalie and then is able to thankfully score on the rebound. The goalie sort of gives up a poor rebound straight to him. And I mean, it's like a comedy of errors offensively. The midfield with Sissoko was suspended, and without him, the midfield basically doesn't exist. I mean, Dieter Hecking also in this one started 3 strikers at the same time. I mean, it was just not to be. And
Yeah, so 21. And then right above we got Kiel with 22, and then we have Heidenheim at 25.
yeah, and Heidenheim
I
won.
kind of
They won a
kind
big
of
game
agree
in
with you, though.
Stuttgart. Yeah, they
Yeah, I
they
kind of
got
agree
the-
with you. I agree with you about Bochum going down. I think because there's 3 games left, and like you said, unless there's gifts coming, it doesn't look like anything's coming.
Well, the big one is on Friday. We're on the road in Heidenheim, and of course, if we win that, then we're. But I mean, it
If you
used
win
to
that,
be.
you're still in the relegation zone.
We're still not even passing them. So even if we win that, if we lose the last 2, we're still out. And I mean, that's still a tall order. I think we're the worst of the 3 because Kiel.
I agree.
Kiel won
Kiel had
a
a
game,
great game over the weekend.
and
Great game.
and
One of the games of the
Heidenheim
season,
did.
by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Heidenheim and Kiel. So the other big results were Heidenheim and Kiel both had wins over the weekend. Kiel beat Gladbach 4-3
Yeah.
in a 7-goal thriller. Heidenheim was able to beat Stuttgart 1-0, and Stuttgart is having a weird season.
Yeah, they really are.
Stuttgart, they're in the final of DFB Pokal, so they can win a title. They're the darlings of the Bundesliga with Sebastian Hoeneß and the like. But like they are dropping some pretty big games this year. Now Heidenheim are motivated to win, and I guess I forgot where it was. In Heidenheim or in Stuttgart?
No, it was on the road. Yeah, this is what
Yeah.
was the total shock, really, from
in Stuttgart. Heidenheim got themselves 3 points against Stuttgart, so good for Heidenheim. So their momentum's strong. And then Kiel also really fighting. All 3 clubs are fighting. Can't remove the effort from both. They're definitely fighting as well. But Kiel's offering results. Like this is Gladbach. It was the Great American Derby, as it was Joe Scally on the right versus John Tolkin on the left. John Tolkin on the left of Holstein Kiel coming down versus Joe Scally on the right of Gladbach. So it was American.
Oh, it was
the Yank Derby.
Kiel was red in that particular case.
The Kiel was red. Oh, because the New York.
New York is If
Right?
if we had a mini New York derby on the right side.
Because of Joe Scally was NYCFC. I didn't see that part of it. It's the Schnitzel Derby. NYCFC Youth versus Rebels, Jersey versus New York, I guess. Well, Joe Scally did play a full 90. I believe he did help with one of the goals. John Tolkin assisted the opening goal off a corner to Kiel's great Japanese player, whose name escapes me at the moment. A lot of great Japanese players in the Bundesliga. Talked about this before, but Japanese players seem to be doing better in the Bundesliga than American players are. Just something to keep an eye on, just for development's sake. But anyway, John Tolkin in the 42nd minute headbutt. I think it was in a headbutt. He hurt his head. He headbutt one of the players. And he was
just couldn't help himself.
No, it was a head collision moment. And he was taken off. He was taken off the field for a concussion. He got concussed. And then so he was already out of the game right before the first half, unfortunately. As Americans are fragile little babies. And then at the end of the game, he had a full headband on, cheering on the whole team. So he had his head dealt with, put a headband on. Hopefully he's okay. Head injuries aren't fun for anybody. But they have 3 weeks left. Kiel got themselves 3 points, and they're believing it. Heidenheim got themselves 3 points. They're believing it too. So if you ask me, I think it's very clear that Heidenheim and Kiel are fighting over this last promotion.
I think
this promotion playoff spot belongs to one of the two of them. Heidenheim in the driving seat, obviously, with 25 points. Kiel at 22. Kiel, I think, has a tougher road than
Yeah, they
Heidenheim.
have 2 road games. They're playing at Augsburg, at home against Freiburg, and then at Dortmund.
That's a tough 3
And
games for
I
Kiel.
mean, Heidenheim are gonna. If you asked me to put significant amounts of money on this, I would say Heidenheim's going to win on Friday, and then they're going to be sitting
That's that. Yeah.
there, and then that's probably that.
So it all boils down to this Friday, Heidenheim Bochum. If Bochum win, it's still on. If Heidenheim wins, I think that finishes the bottom
It's
of the table.
well, if Heidenheim wins for us, then for Bochum it's officially over. Then for Kiel, obviously, perhaps not, depending on their result.
Kiel has Freiburg and Dortmund. I mean, that's going to be tough. I mean, stranger things have happened, but their last 3 games. I mean, Augsburg, Dortmund needs to win because they're trying to get
Dortmund
bigger.
are on a tear. Dortmund are
on a tear.
Are looking for a Champions League spot. Yeah.
But I think the game is if Heidenheim wins, then I think that for me, I think that settles the bottom of the table. If Bochum wins, it does keep it interesting. It's 25-24, and then who knows what Kiel? Maybe Kiel gets a point against Augsburg. We'll see. If Kiel gets 3 points in the last 3 games, it's definitely against Augsburg. Because Freiburg and Dortmund like I said, on a tear, and they're both playing for Europe. Where's Freiburg? Freiburg
still holds the
4th.
Champions League spot that Dortmund wants.
Bingo. So the 2 of them, Freiburg and Dortmund, are both very committed right to the end of the season because they've got Champions League to play for, and that means big money, especially for Freiburg. If Freiburg get Champions League, I mean that might be the first time they've ever been in the Champions League, right? What was the last time Freiburg was in the Champions League?
I don't think that's ever happened. I'm gonna say I could be wrong.
Not in recent memory. So Kiel's up against that, unfortunately for Kiel. So there's 2 teams going at each other. Where Heidenheim maybe has a little bit, like I said, with Bochum, they should be able, because it's in Heidenheim, they should be able to get the 3 points there. But it's going to be a good fight nonetheless and a good game. So tune in. Bjorn, you'll definitely be tuning in, right?
Oh yeah, I'll be tuning. I mean, it's gonna be torture, but yeah, sure.
Or amazing, because if you win, there you go. The hope is still alive with 2 weeks remaining. But that right there is the bottom of the table. That's what I mean by the Great Escape. If Kiel gets relegated, will John Tolkin stay with them? Will he go to a new club? We'll see. His last performances have been promising. He's been playing. He was man of the match last weekend. They seem to be liking him down there. And he's definitely, he's got quality.
In the 2012-2013 season, 13-14, Freiburg made the Europa League and would have made the Champions League if they had beaten Schalke on the last match day, but they did not, and so they just went to the Europa League. That happened twice more, but never the Champions League. For Freiburg,
so this will be big.
I have neglected the chat.
Oh,
Daniel Young is saying European semifinal knockout matches coming tomorrow. That's
but no German clubs are involved, so I'm almost unsubscribed.
We'll still watch.
But although, you know what? I'm going to take that back, Daniel Young. Thank you for reminding me. I want to do a special shout out this year on this podcast. I want to do a special shout out. Now, are the Champions League games tomorrow? Is that what's tomorrow?
One is Arsenal PSG's tomorrow. Barcelona and Inter is on Wednesday.
So there is. I want to shout out a couple of things. So there is a German coach who has exported himself.
Hansi Flick.
Maybe in shame. No spoilers now. And
sorry. Didn't realize it was a spoiler.
No, you're right. I was going to say, I want to give a special shout out to Hansi Flick because FC Barcelona beat Real Madrid over the weekend in the Copa del Rey.
Yeah.
FC Barcelona is leading the Spanish table right now over Real Madrid. And FC Barcelona is in the semis. Real Madrid is not, right? They were eliminated by Arsenal. And Barcelona are still in the Final Four with a good chance to win it. So Hansi Flick and the Barcelona boys are up for a treble still. They're up for a treble.
Absolutely crushing it.
So I just want to give a special shout out to Hansi Flick. And I want to give another special shout out because maybe I want your thoughts on this, Bjorn.
Okay.
Maybe it ebbs and flows with German coaches, but it seems that all the countries, not all the countries, that's an exaggeration, but Spain and now England, Liverpool won over the weekend, and Arne Slot led the entire stadium in a chant of Jurgen Klopp.
Oh,
Because he's just like, thank you, Jurgen Klopp. We got to thank Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp. And they just start chanting Jurgen Klopp's name. So we got Hansi Flick, we got Jurgen Klopp in England, we got Hansi Flick in Spain. The only country without a dominant German coach is Germany, because the top two teams is a Belgian and a Spaniard. And then Mainz has a great Danish coach. And I've talked about this before.
they're
I
all
want to
getting
give a
exported.
Yeah, and like I said, ebbs and flows. Like Hansi Flick at Jurgen Klopp used to be Bundesliga coach. Like they come from the Bundesliga. Mainz had Thomas Tuchel. Mainz had Jurgen Klopp once upon a time. You know, Mainz, like German clubs do make great German coaches, and there's plenty of great German coaches in Germany, Sebastian Hoeneß and the like. Who do you think? You know, Niko Kovac and stuff like that. So there's still plenty of German coaches, but
That's
maybe
a
ebbs and flows
little
where.
bit of a step down, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe he'll.
Well, I'm just trying to think of the top of the table. But anyway, it ebbs and flows with German coaches, because German coaches are dominating in England and Spain, but in Germany, no. The titles last year was a Spaniard, and then this year will be by a Belgian dude.
Yeah.
So you know, as football ebbs and flows, I want to give a special shout out to Denmark.
Bayern already hired all the German coaches. They cannot. They're no longer. Yeah,
can't hire them again.
Nobody else is available. Yeah,
Nagelsmann, Kovac, Tuchel, Flick. They're all former disgraced alumni. I can't hire them again.
I guess they could try to pry Klopp
Hoeneß.
away from, or Hoeneß. Yeah, I don't know. Well, right now things are going well, so not a.
I think Hoeneß might be next. Hoeneß might be
Okay.
next. I mean, simply because of nepotism, right?
An obvious pick. Yeah.
His uncle is an associate producer there. Anyway, I also want to give a special shout out to Denmark. You know, certain countries export coaches. It changes. You know, Argentina was pretty big for a while. Holland was pretty big for a while. And Arne Slot is Dutch. The Dutch are still exporting. And the Germans never exported super much, but they've been doing it lately. Like I said, with Flick and Klopp and the like. And Oliver Glasner is doing a really great job at Crystal Palace. Although I guess he's Austrian, not German, but still. I'll put it part. You know, Austrians and Germans. We'll put them in the same. We'll have them be cousins there. We'll have them be brothers.
Okay. All right.
In football.
Okay. I don't know, but all right, I'll allow it.
But anyway, how about Bundesliga coaches?
Also German.
What is?
Gerhard Struber, also now German.
No, he's Austrian. You're right. I take that back. We'll talk about that in a second.
Nobody wants to go. Everybody wants to stay in the Super League. Nobody wants to go up.
No, they're stumbling upwards.
the snail's race.
But we've talked about this before. Countries export coaches. Argentina's a big one. Holland, Germany's got in the game. You know who's been crushing it lately?
Denmark, you said.
Denmark.
I mean, Denmark as a country just punches above its weight in many, like when it comes in architecture, cinema,
Legos.
A lot of yeah. I know that's Sweden. IKEA is Sweden. I'm sorry, but yeah, Lego. So for a small country, they have a lot of worldwide influence. And
yeah, 100%. And in football.
I went to Copenhagen for the first time last year. It's beautiful, very beautiful city.
Nice. How's the ice cream?
I don't know that I've had any ice cream. Oh, I did have ice cream. It was good. It was very good.
Of course you did. Come on now. Ice cream and chips. But anyway, and this is a cross episode thing because Vancouver Whitecaps head coach,
they have
Jasper Christensen, this Danish.
He's crushing
who's never left Denmark. His entire soccer career, player and coach was all Denmark. They scout him really well, like good scouting. And now he's crushing it with Vancouver Whitecaps. You know, Thomas Frank, and there's a lot of good Danes in Europe. The Mainz head coach, Bo Svensson or Bo Henriksen, keep mixing them up a little bit, one or the other. But both of those guys are both crushing it with their respective clubs. The Danes are exporting some good coaches. And then even, I'll give you even one better. Isn't the Panamanian coach half Danish? Thomas Christensen? It's like a half Danish, half Spanish dude.
I mean,
I'm
okay.
gonna look it up right now. You've in.
Well, we
But just
still.
want to go.
I'm still catching up on the chat here. So we have the European
He is, by the way.
semifinal knockout matches coming tomorrow. David
Thomas
Riccio is a Volkswagen owner. We're learning. He loves his VW.
Excellent.
And Daniel Young now thinks he may need to buy a VW Tiguan. Yeah, the Tiguan is the sort of the smaller SUV.
Oh,
the
Touaregs don't exist,
but not as much. But David Riccio, ever sensitive of the needs to transition to soccer, says, not as much as I love Die Adler going into the Champions League next year. I will celebrate with them when Frankfurt visit Louisville City this summer. So David is excited about Frankfurt making the Champions League, which is not yet official, but probably.
Well, let's talk about. We talked about the bottom.
Or is it official?
David
Maybe
Riccio.
I missed. No, not quite yet, but I mean, pretty
yet.
close. Pretty close. 6 points. That should do it with 3 games left.
All right. Let's talk. So we talked about the bottom of the table. The next exciting part of the table.
Hold on.
Bottom hinges on a Friday game.
Let me just read these chat because they've been here a while. Yes, Daniel, my Tiguan has 200,000 plus miles and terrible AC. Germans hate AC. That is true.
That's true.
I don't like AC either. My family loves AC. I'm like, I had to admonish in April. It's April. My kids turn on the AC in April. Right. It's like, no, that can't, like, take a layer off. Americans love AC. Yeah, it's my family too. David,
that is a big cultural difference in Germany.
The Tiguan is affordable and scoots right along. All right, so you've heard it here first. We're not sponsored by VW, but the Tiguan is 200,000 miles. That's a lot of miles. Well
especially
done.
the VW.
Well done. You.
Something I want to buy now. I was almost a VW Passat owner, as that was my parents' car, and they got rid of it before I bought my car. Like I had to buy a car, but like 2 months before that, they got rid of their car. In typical fashion, assuming that I was lying when I talked about moving to LA. They're like, "Oh, that's a lie. Why would you even bring it up?" And then I'm just like, "No, I'm moving to LA," so I had to buy a whole different car, as opposed to the hand-me-down, which would have been the VW Passat. But anyway, one of these days, I'd love to, if I had money. Now, they notoriously break down and are very expensive to maintain, but there's a whole modding culture. Is the VW Westie, the Westfalen, the camper, the van again, or whatever they're called, the camper van from the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s. You know, take those, drive them around the national parks out here. That's a whole scene, man.
They just came out with a new electric van.
I saw.
Very cute. It's very good looking.
Very expensive. Very expensive.
I bet it. I didn't look into it. I'm not in the market for a van, but it looked great.
If you live out west and you're like a nature boy and you like to go to parks a lot, I think there's nothing better than the little van again. I think they're called vanagons or van wagons. But yeah, there you go. Anywho, we got the European table. So we got Frankfurt, we got Freiburg. Dortmund are on a tear because they realize they do need that money. Dortmund right now in the Europa League spot at 48 points. Mainz, unfortunately, 7th. They're only 1 point off, but it's pretty wide open. Even Werder Bremen might even have a shot. I doubt it. But in my mind, Mainz, Dortmund, Leipzig, and Freiburg are all fighting for 4 things.
Although Leipzig Leipzig have been struggling. So
yeah, they've been struggling for a while. I mean, the fact they're in 5th blows my mind because I've only been seeing them lose games. So, but Freiburg, Leipzig, Dortmund, Mainz. There's 4 teams, 4 spots. Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, zilch, right outside, looking in. So those 4 clubs have 4 very specific fates waiting for them over the next 3 weeks. Right now, Freiburg is in the Champions League spot, the coveted spot. Leipzig is in the Europa League spot. Dortmund in the Conference League, and Mainz outside looking in. You know, Dortmund are on a tear, and they're only 3 points off that spot. They want that spot. Freiburg, they got Kiel coming up. They want to keep that spot. I agree with you. Leipzig has been putting up much of a fight at all. They got rid of Marco Rosa. They're, I think, under a they're under what's it called? A replacement coach, interim coach. Is the
An
word I was looking
interim
for.
coach. Yeah, Frankfurt beat them 4-0, 4-0.
Yeah, over the weekend. It's Leipzig doesn't have much to offer. So, I mean, if you told me right now who's going to be the outside looking in, it's probably maybe it's Leipzig,
Yeah, it seems like
which I would
everybody.
root for, by the way.
It seems like all their big players are thinking about going someplace
Moving
else.
on. Yeah, let's look at let's look at everyone's remaining schedule here. So we got Leipzig. Let's look at Leipzig. Leipzig has full match schedule. Leipzig has Bayern this weekend.
Yeah,
And Bayern are looking to win the league this weekend with a suspended Harry Kane. And then they're at Werder. Werder only a few points below them. And then their last weekend game is Stuttgart. So Leipzig has Bayern, Werder, Stuttgart. It's not looking good for Leipzig.
And Dortmund has Wolfsburg at home, Leverkusen on the road, Holstein Kiel at home. So
it's also not easy.
Also not well. I mean, the home games should be easy. The Leverkusen, I mean, they don't have any. They don't have anything to play for. So I don't know. We'll see. And they have the best goal differential right now of all these teams. So I don't know. Dortmund may just make the late charge for that Champions League spot that we thought they couldn't get.
It is looking like that's a possibility. And then the club close to our heart, Mainz. Mainz are hosting Eintracht Frankfurt, the Adler, next week. That's a pretty open. That's going to be a tough game.
It's a derby.
It's a derby, right? I think I was at that derby a couple of years ago. A lot of fun. Then Mainz are at Bochum. Easy 3 points. Then Mainz are hosting Leverkusen to end the thing.
Wish I could even be outraged by how casually you're saying that, but I think it's true.
I'm just egging you on a little bit.
No.
Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to predict these games because the teams with quote unquote nothing to play for makes them more dangerous, right? They're usually pretty more carefree and
at times, it's hard to know.
So when Mainz is playing
Leverkusen, that's their last home game against Dortmund. Maybe some of the departing players want to show a little something. I don't know. Who knows what the psychology is of these things? But Dortmund have a shot. David Riccio wants to say that he put two daughters through private colleges. Hence, I hold on to cars for a long time. Listen, nothing but respect, man. You can keep a car for 200,000 miles. That's very good. And
I'm hoping to do that with mine because I'm in the same boat. I want my cars to last.
Dortmund right now, and he's thinking. Sorry, Dortmund and Kovac will make it in. Also, they are salvaging a tough season. I think you may be right.
Yeah, the Kovac thing took a while, but he's real. And Dortmund has been finally played. Gio Reyna has not been a part of that, unfortunately. Gio Reyna's going away no matter what. But Dortmund, I think the safe bet is Dortmund's going to just get that Champions League spot. Sorry to say. Mainz will probably get the Europa League spot, though, I think. But the other team in contention is Freiburg. Freiburg has Leverkusen at home. All of these teams, by the way, have Leverkusen. Leverkusen's playing each of the Champions League teams all have Leverkusen left, which is funny.
Right, that is funny.
So we'll see what they bring to the table because like you said, Leverkusen is off. They're going to be second place no matter what happens. They lose the next 3 games, they'll be second place. SC Freiburg hosting Leverkusen, that'll be a big one. And then Freiburg at Kiel, that'll be big because Kiel and Freiburg both need 3 points in that game. And then to round it out, the Freiburg will host Frankfurt the last weekend. And, Frankfurt's confidently in third place, so they probably will have a little to play for that game. Yeah, and then Freiburg, it's not an easy road for anybody.
Anything could happen. That's really is the only thing that's really interesting, especially once Bochum is officially done. A German restaurant in Highland Park, California came up in David Reach's Instagram feed. Stefan, are you behind this?
Was it the Red Lion Pub?
The Red Lion Pub? I don't know. Was it the Red Lion Pub? Tell us.
That's the German restaurant I go to. No, I don't know if I would be. I don't think I'm trying to think. I don't think I've gone to a German restaurant in Highland Park. There's a German waitress that I when I go to I'm down the street from a bunch of restaurants in Los Feliz here in LA, and I go to restaurants, and I've been to 2 different restaurants with the same German waitress. Who's just like this German waitress that just does all
Oh,
the
she's on
restaurants.
tour?
She's on tour. Very
Hmm.
sweet lady. I don't exactly know where she's from, but she's German. I can always hear the accent, and the first thing I say is "Willkommen Sie hier," right? Or kommst du her?" And they're like, "Oh, it's the München or whatever." Anyway, she says there's this new German place that opened up. It's supposed to be pretty good. That might be the Highland Park restaurant. Now, I
Hmm.
don't know why that would end up in your Instagram feed unless they can memorize, unless they have some weird brain control over all 3 of us. The only German restaurant I go to is in Los Feliz called the Red Lion Pub. Bjorn, you were there with me once.
Oh, yeah, that's where that famous picture was taken of us both biting into the schnitzel.
For Schnitzel. It's a Red Lion Pub. They have trivia there on Mondays. I've won the trivia twice, I believe, 2 or 3 times. They're you know
Oh,
they're
very good.
they're a good example of they've got a fun aesthetic. Their beer selection's pretty good. That's what makes them pretty German. They have Schnitzel and stuff, but it's also a lot of burgers and fries and stuff. It's like a German American place kind of. And but there's a bunch of the Bayern München group around here meets at Das Wursthaus, a place I've never been to yet.
Mm.
That's in West LA. And then Kosh, I want to say, was on tour here, and they went to a special German place in Santa Monica to give their beers. There's a German place there. And then my favorite place to go to, and I went to over the weekend again, is the Old World Village in Orange County. And that's like a full-on German little town with like a full beer hall,
Oh, wow, okay.
a place for Papa band, and a German market full of German import goodies.
Going all
I
in.
got myself a bunch of Landjäger, and I got a Polnische, and I
Mm.
got some Marzipan, and then I got some Schaumküsse.
Oh,
Like
Schaumküsse. Okay, that's the new name.
that's the new name.
We
I'm not
won't
going
say
to say the
it.
old name.
We
It's
will
the
not.
new name. There's an
Um,
old name to it. But anyway, I bought a bunch of German goodies this weekend at a place called the Old World Village. And to me, that place in Orange County is the gold standard.
all right.
Um,
We don't know the name of the Highland Park restaurant. It was a one-word name, and it looked great.
I'll
That's
Google it.
that's
Yeah.
well, while you Google that, let's talk about the Super League, also known as Bundesliga 2. Which
Keats. Sorry,
Kiez
Keats Küche? Is that what we're talking about here?
Kiezküche.
Keats?
All right.
Keats Küche. Let me Google it. You've had about the Super League. The Stumblers. The
The
Stumblers.
Super League, that this the everybody loves the Super League so much that they don't want to get out. Everybody's losing. All the teams that are in contention. We had we had so many teams. It was so close for so long. So many teams are in contention, at least for third place, and everybody's dropping points. And so Köln and Hamburg had the last games. They played on Sunday, both with the opportunity to all but nail down their promotion, and they both lost. Köln lost to Hannover. HSV lost at home to mid-table Karlsruhe. So everybody wants to just try and stay in the Super League, but whether they like it or not, 2 teams will get promoted, and the third team will play Heidenheim in the playoff. And it's still, despite all their losses, because everybody else is dropping points too, Köln and Hamburg are still in a good position, but they may have to win another game to do it, but not if this continues. So anyway, some interesting weird results in the Zweite Bundesliga.
Well, they lost. They lost last weekend as well. It's compounded with the fact that they both lost last weekend as well. It's 2 weeks in a row they lost. I think. Let's see here. If memory serves, right? Because didn't last week it was the same thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, except I think Köln won, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. David Riccio is doing the 5-borough bike tour. He says he'll be wearing his Erste FC Köln jersey. All right, I will see. Trying to smoke out some Bundesliga supporters on bikes. The 5-borough bike tour in New York City is like they shut down the entire city for a day. It's really quite amazing. I've done it once, like a long time ago, and it was kind of I remember there being a lot of food. Like I remember, wow, this could be a net weight gain event. Like there was some biking, but there was also a lot of eating. I remember. Anyway,
Hey,
I
that's
don't know
my
if
kind of
that's still
event.
the case. Daniel Young has a question. He wants our thoughts on Klopp crying tears of joy thinking about his Liverpool accomplishments, including the Barcelona semi-final second leg, and praising Slot for winning the Premier League title. Kiezküche. Yes, it was Kiezküche. David Riccio confirms.
Okay, I want to. So 2 things. Let's talk about Club in a
Yes.
second. But I'm here with Kiezküche. I'm here at their menu.
All right.
It's a pretty good menu. They have a lot of stuff. They have a currywurst. They have a Flammkuchen, which is good. Flammkuchen is representative of pretty accurate. But it's also LA. So they got the vegan Hamburg sausage. They have the they have the chicken mango sausage.
Okay.
Cheddar wurst sausage. So it's a little mixy match. Goulash. They got a bunch of schnitzels, including the cordon bleu schnitzel and the vegan schnitzel and the pretzel schnitzel.
What is a vegan schnitzel? What are they? It's like
vegan schnitzel topped with tomato bell pepper sauce and sunflower.
What is that made out of?
I mean, you got to ask the scientists at the.
It's just mostly breading. They just bread. They just bread some cardboard.
Yeah, something like that. But how about this? Pretzel schnitzel, crispy pretzel breading, all natural chicken.
Oh no, I've had that before. That is good.
Then they've got the dog. Then they've got the burgers and the stuff. Yeah, this might be fun. There's also a place downtown called the Wurstküche where they have like curry style fries with broth and stuff like that. There's a lot of options around here. LA
but now
does
we
well.
have the Kiezküche. All right.
Kiezküche.
Yeah, this is now a food, car, and soccer podcast.
Hey, German culture, baby. They have beignets, which is very New Orleans.
Ooh, yum yum.
Apfelstrudel, bread pudding, and then beignets.
Beignets are usually part of the Memorial Day festivities that I've mentioned before. that I've partaken.
What, in Germany?
No, in upstate New York. Yeah, where there's a pig roast and badminton tournament, and there is also beignets.
Beignets are good. Beignets are very New Orleans. They're like deep fried. It's like
deep fried dough with sugar. Like what's not to like?
Yeah. Or like if you're in New York, a lot of Chinese takeout places make the Chinese donuts or whatever. That's pretty much the same thing.
And you were going to say something about Klopp.
Who's Jurgen Klopp? Oh yeah, I think it's great. I think how difficult is it for Arne Slot to step into a team where the legendary coach has just finished winning them their first title in a million years? You know what I mean? It's like the Klopp universe over there. And he just stepped in and made that team as good as it's ever been. Like that team has just won the league title. No small feat. You thank Klopp, but it was Arne Slot. Now, granted, so Arne Slot didn't rebuild. I don't even think they bought any players over the summer. At least not any significant.
There was a little bit, but yeah, not.
That team was it's Klopp's team that he took over. It was Klopp's roster.
And it seems like they're looking for more stability. They had, a bunch of contracts were up. Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is probably going to Spain, but the other two re-signed, so more continuity.
And they also played well this year. Mo Salah has been up and down. He was a big part of their success.
No. He's been incredible. He's been on my fantasy team, and he's kept me alive.
This season, not last season.
Yeah.
This season, yeah.
I mean, I don't think I would object to the characterization of Mo Salah being up and down. Like he's been incredible.
Well, then he's been incredible. Like I said, I don't watch him week in, week out, so my assessment is unfair. But they just need to hear a different voice. Maybe some players just get tired of hearing the same voice over and over again. They need to. So that is an example of a perfect transition, right? I mean, can you think of any better transitions?
It would be difficult. Yeah, I don't think so.
And the fact that they credit Klopp, good for him. There's been rumors of Klopp trying to leave his Red Bull job and all that, but I think that's just English schmear. Who knows?
I mean, what is that job anyway?
I don't. Yeah, why would you leave a job that pays ridiculous amounts of money and then?
It's ceremonial. It's like he's like the queen of Red Bull.
Yeah, he's the Red Bull queen. This is what his job title is. Every year he goes on the float.
It's just waving. Go to different places, waving.
He just yells, Trivago. Trivago.
I know. Can you keep all the sponsors straight?
But that's my thoughts. My thoughts are Liverpool's crushing it. I'm glad they credited Klopp because he built that. He took the story goes back in the day when they were looking for new coaches. The way it works in England is you get a hot list of who's hot and who's not. And then, Carlo Ancelotti was also up for that job. He really wanted that job because he's a Liverpool fan. And Carlo Ancelotti's like, we're going to buy a new midfielder, new defender, a new forward, and a new spine. But that's what everybody says, right?
Right.
And then all the other coaches came in to the same thing. And in England, that's just sure that happens, but doesn't equal success. Liverpool usually end up in fourth place at best anyway. During the Gerrard years, at best they were like fourth place. Anyway, Jurgen Klopp comes in. He doesn't bring up players at all. All he talks about is mentality and psychology. He just talks about the mentality. And they hired that. They're like, yeah, whatever that is, let's hire that. And then Jurgen Klopp's best player when he started was Felipe Coutinho, remember?
Yeah.
And Felipe Coutinho wanted to go to Barcelona. He did this thing where he forced his move, which was weird. And, so they finally let him go for a lot of money, let him go. And young Mo Salah, who was a nobody player at the time, stepped up and he was the star. And the rest is history. And Liverpool, the only major signing they did, a couple small ones, was Virgil van Dijk was the game changer. They realized they needed a tighter defense, so they spent real money to get Virgil van Dijk. And then that was the last piece of the puzzle. And then they've been dominant ever since, winning the league title for the first time. They also lost the league title with a record amount of points under him. Remember, they 99 points, but still didn't win the title.
Yeah, I mean, they also, City were really dominant in this period, or they would have done much better. And a lot of Liverpool fans will tell you that City did that with. I mean, the jury's still out, right? Literally about like if they are going to receive some punishment about their financial dealings, and so I think some Liverpool fans feel hard done by this competition from City that where they were kind of out overmatched by this much richer club.
Right. Which Liverpool's owned by a Boston billionaire. It's not, I'm not going to cry for Liverpool.
No, they're not. No, right. Exactly.
But maybe they follow the rules a little better. That's probably
well. That's, I guess, to be determined what will happen there. But anyway,
and Pep, by the way, addendum. Pep has never been the same since Klopp left. Pep isn't. Pep was without. Was it iron makes steel? That's not the thing, but like iron to sharpen yourself, to galvanize yourself.
So you think the Man City lackluster season is because he's missing Jurgen?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not because
Pep isn't the same.
It's not because this midfield is too old. All right. Well, maybe you're right. We'll see. We'll see how it goes next year.
They challenged each other in the Bundesliga, and then they went on to challenge each other in England for many years. Pep and Klopp were the best coach of their generation. They were each other's foils. And we are now entering the post-Pep era, the post-Pep Klopp era, I believe. Will it be the Arne Slot era? Will it be the Hansi Flick era?
A funny thing that I read about the celebrations of the Liverpool title was that I read there was a lot of talk on Twitter of Everton fans who had, I guess, gone out of their way over the last few weeks to repackage blue colored smoke bombs with a red color package. So there were all these pictures of Liverpool fans happily uncorking their smoke bombs in celebration and then coming out blue for Everton. I think that.
So it was a mistake. It was a mistake, or what?
No, it was Everton fans doing this on purpose to see, to mess with the Liverpool celebration. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Good for them. I mean, Everton needs something, right?
You did see there were a fair amount of blue, little. So this was successful. I mean, that's commitment too, right? Like you put like mislabeled smoke bombs into stores that people. I mean, hats off.
They have to. Hats off, but they have to because Everton and Liverpool were more even-footed on the Tim Howard days and stuff like that. Liverpool, I guess, was always more dominant, at least at that time. And now there's quite the gap. I mean, Liverpool is a title-winning team, and Everton's floating over relegation. So the fans need to save some sort of face. Good for them for Operation Screw with the Liverpool fans. Good for them, because it ain't on the field. So if I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm not losing too much sleep over it.
All right.
Did we do it?
I think we did it.
Will Bochum stay
Champion-
face? Will Heidenheim?
Big
Yeah, we
game
have
on
Champions League.
Friday. I don't think I have no faith. Champions League, no German teams, but still fun. And we'll
Who's winning the
see.
Champions League, Bjorn? Who's winning the Champions League?
PSG.
Good. PSG, I honestly agree that it's their year. Although if Hansi Flick wins the treble, I ain't gonna complain.
That'd be fun too. No, I'm rooting for them. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, these are two great matchups. I think maybe Barcelona has it a slight bit easier. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun.
We'll see. Will Daniel Young's Tottenham win the Europa League crown this year? We'll see.
Maybe. And and then there's Champions Cup. We're going to talk that after the break. We have my New York team got a win, but it wasn't pretty.
My New York team also got a win.
It wasn't pretty, but we'll talk about it after the jump. Oh,
as the prodigal son.
We'll see you guys later.
See you then.